Where's your screen at, boy?
That's here, boy.
How do I turn this again? Always forget. Let me
Where's your screen?
Yeah, there we go. Is that a do-rag, boy?
Yeah, man. I didn't like how my hair looked, eh?
My brother
Although,
was,
what did they say? Black is beautiful, right? I guess I should also embrace my curly hair, bro.
yeah, yeah, boy. What's up? We ended off
Um,
um, yesterday
yeah, and a
with
bit of
you.
yeah, yo, very unprofessional of me, man. Yo, I ran out of data and airtime.
It's alright, boy.
I ran out
It's
of
all
data and the battery ran out of battery. Yo, don't even remember where we were.
yeah. We're talking about this whole voting thing and how when you're young and excited, anything that gets sold to you is that makes you feel as though that you're the victim is the best thing possible for you to happen because then you'll just vote for it, and that's what political parties do all over the world. Is that they try to target the people, especially the ones in varsity, the ones that think that they have a voice, that transition period before they get into their family life, target them, and then those are the ones that kind of push the narrative. Um, and yeah, like yeah, they push the narrative, but at the same time, they're strong enough to push a narrative because they're in the actual universities and colleges and stuff where like the youth leagues are and things like that.
Yeah,
So
but it's actually the youth that really drive these revolutions, eh?
yeah,
Yo, I
exactly.
remember there's a song that I heard, when I'm still young, but like in my younger days, Mortal Man by Kendrick. And then at the end, there's this interview that he had. I think Tupac had this interview on some radio show. And then he's like, um, the best time to actually push like these sort of changes is like when you're still like young, when you're still hungry, when you still have like that inhibition of like not caring about what tomorrow, that YOLO mindset. Because
Yep.
once you turn 30, bro, it's like they take the heart and soul out of a man, dog. And I'm like, yo, that line really hits me. How many loud mouth 30-year-olds do you see still pushing the agenda?
Yeah. Because normal, yeah, that the thing is that when you're still like in your late teens and in your like before you get into your early 30s, like in that age range, when you're still studying and you're getting all the knowledge that you can get, you're at prime age to kind of push a narrative because you haven't really started a family, so you haven't really like found out what the world is really about, and at the same time you're still trying to be rebellious from your own family and start your own life. So if they target you, then it's perfect because then it's like, okay, well, you have, especially for males, you have the drive. You're able to go and burn stuff if you want to, especially if you fuel by alcohol. And if you make that part of the group or that part of the age group, um, the people that are you give them weapons so that they feel as though that they're victims, then they're the best to carry out all this nonsense. Whereas you never see the older types go out and and burn things and do all that stuff, and you never see the younger types do that as well. It's always the guys in the middle that are in that weird life transition phase, and those are the ones
Yeah,
that get targeted.
yeah, yeah. That's so true, man. It's like you haven't really seen how the system is actually so rigged. You're
Yes,
like you're still on
yeah,
nothing of anything is possible type of thing.
yeah.
And
You
once
still,
you've been in the system, you've had some formal job or something, where you start seeing like, no, no, there's actually rules that you can't just do whatever you want, and you get sucked in
exactly.
when you get into that routine, and then now. you just, it slowly chips away at you. Something chips away at you, and you're like, what's the point, really? Nothing's ever going to change. And you can see that now, like here, I can only speak for South Africa, like how so many people don't want to vote. Like, they're like, what's the point, really? Because, like, it's
Mm.
all the same.
Yeah, because also when it comes to to votes, for example, it's like the people like the people in their 20s, like late teens, early 30s, they kind of, you voted once or twice. You don't really know who to vote for, and it doesn't really concern you because it doesn't there's no major changes in your life, so you're easily swayed by votes. You see, so then if you just target those people, then you can then get as much votes as possible. And then the best way to target those people is to make them feel as though that they're victims of something. And then as soon as you do that, then you're done. So it's the same with like what every party does. They either they divide you in terms of gender, which is the big thing, and they divide you in terms of race. Then the one party takes the one race, and the other party takes the other race, or the one party takes the one gender, the other party takes the other gender, and then whoever has more people on their side wins. And then they just
Yeah,
drive whatever they drive, regardless of what they actually believe in, you know, regardless of what their actual philosophy is. It's just about, well, this is what we have to do now, and this is what we do have to do in order to keep our job, so therefore we'll do it. Because at the end of the day, it's also a job. It's like what I
at the
said
end
to
of
you
the day,
yesterday about this whole like even the people that have had good hearts and wanted to change the system and create new systems and all of that, you get to a certain point where when you get elected or when you get to a certain position, you just you realize that there's no way that you can please everyone, and especially at that scale, it seems as though when you're not pleasing a small minority of people, that small minority is still a large majority of people. So then you just say, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna treat this thing as a job, and then that's what you get.
yeah, that's so true, man. You're right. At the end of the day, the people that run these parties are still trying to get numbers, even though they do have the manifesto of like what their party is about. They need numbers at the end of the day, and the best way to get numbers is whatever is the media pushing GBV. Okay, okay, so we have XYZ number of female candidates, for lack of a better example. You see, seeing that everybody these days wants to, promote that more women need to be in more positions. Okay, we're gonna have X, Y, and Z. Maybe in their manifesto, it's like, okay, not that females aren't capable of doing it, no, but sometimes the intention, like you're saying, is like for the sake of just garnering numbers, like, oh, these guys are actually on the side of trying to push this, or we're trying to be more welcoming to foreign nationals. Okay, we've got one or two. We accept someone from Swaziland to be a candidate here if they've just been nationalized or they've got permanent res. We are this transparent thing. Even though that may be not aligned, they still need to drive numbers or something like that. So you're 100% sure, man.
That
Yeah, so
is
yeah.
spot on. Spot on. I mean, look, that's what every party does everywhere. There's that. It's like the DA tried to do the other time. Just, oh well, let's just get a lot of black voters. Let's get Muslim voters. Let's get a white male. Let's get a white female. Make people feel as though they're represented by putting those faces there. And it's like you even forget what the hell their manifesto is. Or most of the time their manifesto is actually bashing the other people's manifesto. And you see that in America as well. It's just, oh, let's get these people and let's get black people in this party and mix them together with white people and a white male and perhaps someone that's also pro transgender and pro gay rights and all of that stuff. And then as soon as we get all those people together, then we say, cool, we've got the voters, whatever. We go and we ride with this. And you actually, the worst thing about it is that you don't know how detrimental it is to you that people, um, um, they create these things for you to be similar, to feel as though that they're similar to you. You don't know how detrimental it is to you because you don't know what their true intentions are. It's like a lawyer,
Mhm.
for example. You would expect a lawyer to be for the truth, for example, morally, you know. But he will know that, look, this guy probably killed this person, but I'm not going to put him down because I have a job to do, you know. And then he'll try to save that person if he's a defense lawyer, for example, because he cares about his numbers and his family. Because to him, it's just a job, regardless of why he started law to begin with.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's so true, man. Yeah, man. Like you're right about, it seems like everyone's party is about how our party is not like they have other parties really pointing out the pitfalls of other people's parties. But like, is there a party where it's like, yo, we just want to make South Africa better? It's like this. We don't care what happened yesterday, but look, we have a plan to do this. You just give us 5 years with that municipal, that ward, that small town. There's no water here, or they don't have electricity. Give us 5 years, we're gonna fix that. Like, when are we gonna start seeing that instead of like, these guys didn't give you this thing and they promised you, but like, okay, when you do get in there and you don't deliver that, how are you any different from that party that you were bashing?
Which comes into another debate that I was having um, the other day about like this thing that happened to Quinton de Kock. You watched the cricket, right?
Yeah, I watched it, yo. We actually,
That racial thing that happened. It's exactly that. You know, it's exactly that. It's just narrative being pushed because they need to be pushed so that a political party can then benefit from it, especially when it's close to voting time, and then all of a sudden you see this uprising, but then you don't see these people for 3 or 4 years. So you have to push something like that, and you then, as a black person, might feel, oh yeah, well, quota system for sure. You know, I mean, I'm victimized, right? But when you actually think about it, how are you any different to the government of apartheid that you're fighting against? It's the exact same thing.
imagine that, dude. Imagine that. Yo, I'm glad you touched on that Quinton issue, man. Like, yo, like, I really don't understand some people, bro, because from how I understand from the information, like they were told like on Monday that they were gonna have to do it on Wednesday. Like, yo, you're gonna have to take the knee, guys. So when he comes out and says no, they only told us on the bus the morning or something, and then he just pulled himself out, and then he gave that half-baked apology or whatever that thing someone else wrote on his behalf, man. That's
There's
really, really,
nothing.
really
There's
sad,
nothing
man.
more. There's nothing more racist than a racial quota system. There's nothing more sexist than a gender quota system. It's as simple as that. But then you
Touch,
obviously won't see it when you benefit from it or you're a victim of it, because then it like you're not giving away anything. You're the one that's receiving. So something like Black Lives Matter, for example, it's like, okay, so what? Why must I take the knee? It's my knee. Why must I take it? Like anything else, you don't make a big deal out of it. Why do you make a big deal of race? I made an example of Hashim Amla the other time, um, not wearing the Castle Light badge, right? It's like, why don't you say anything about that? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, no one's having an alcohol debate because, yeah, we're pretty much all in the same boat with alcohol. It's like, okay, yeah, but then it's the sponsor. Why doesn't he want to wear that sponsor? Well, then it's the same as why doesn't someone want to take the knee? It's like it's his views, bro. It's got nothing to do with anything else. What's that got to do with cricket? You know, but then we'll
100%.
justify it on the one side and we'll say, no, Quinton's racist. It's like, you even know Quinton, firstly. And secondly, you by saying that, it does not exempt you either from being racist. So yeah, it's just political agendas that get pushed so that you can then have a narrative on the one side to then drive away a particular group of people on the other side, and then keep these people on your side, and then you have again political power. You know, it's
Yeah.
you don't justify racism by racism reversed. Like, how did that make sense? You don't just put someone in a particular um, uh, team because of their color. It's like, well, what happened to batting or bowling? Like, we're not going to talk about that, you know? So this whole transformation thing as well, it's like, it's just completely flawed. But no one is obviously going to be willing to go against it because we benefit from it. So why would we talk
Dude,
against it? But the problem with that, if you don't talk against it, then that same principle is going to be used against you when it's something else, which is what's happening now with the whole feminist movement. They're using the same principle that the racial movement, like this transformation thing, it has used, and it's using it against men. And they're saying, look, you guys oppressed us for so many years as men. Now you guys need to pay, and you need to put us in positions of power because we're female. And then males say, no, 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 that doesn't sound right. And then the feminists say, but hey, look at the quota system. You said as black people that you were then put in power. I mean, you were oppressed by white people, so therefore now you now need to be put in power because of your race. So everyone's a victim, it works, and then therefore we're female, we're victims, it works. Put us in the team now because we're female. And then people will come after them. And the LGBTQ will come, and then they'll say, hey, put us in the team because we're LGBTQ as well. And then we lose merit. Merit doesn't matter anymore.
dude, you're so right, dude. Like this racial whatever, any sort of traits, caste, typecast thing of yours really is flawed, man. You can just take just to digress for the last time, like the NBA, like 75% of the NBA players are black, but like no one says anything about that. Like, yo,
Yeah,
there should be a
exactly.
code on the number of foreign players. Like I remember, like that whole Jeremy Lin, like the Asian American guy, like who was like amazing for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then he was getting all this buzz. I think there's a movie called Linsanity. If you have time, try and watch it. Like yo, like there was so much like outrage, like yo, like all these other like black players average 17 points per game as well, but like they never get clout. But suddenly you get someone of a different ethnicity that does the same thing. Wow, wow, wow. But like, can we just appreciate like yo, Bryce playing great, dog? Like at what point, like you're saying, bro, like this typecasting thing, like it really is a problem. Like we should just, like you said, let's look at yo. It's about batting, it's about bowling. Like yo, Quinton is an amazing player, dog. Like if you look at his stats for his age, like he's on track to be like one of the top 10, whatever greatest pro tier. But like what, like yo, if you even stretch it wide, like what does someone's like personal views have to do with his work, bro?
Exactly.
Like for real,
That,
bro.
that's, that, that's the question. Again, when you're going back to this whole black and white thing, it's like, it's always weird. That's why I say it's always political. It's always weird to bring up certain certain things and then leave out certain things because the other certain things that you bring up are actually going to drive you. It's like with this whole Black Lives Matter thing. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go against all the cops that kill black people. Okay, well, how about we go against the people, civilians that kill black people? It's like it's not gonna cause much of a buzz. Like, well, that's much more than the cops, much more percentage-wise. Why don't you go against that? You know? And it's like, no, it's better if it's cops. Because in that way we can push our agenda. It's like, exactly. So it's like, why do you leave others and not other things? Why do you leave things like um, this whole AMLA thing I was talking about and then worry about the Black Lives Matter conveniently just before election?
Yeah, dog. Like, I mean, if you just think, like, has anyone asked, like, the point of view of a policeman? Like, every day, he doesn't know if he's gonna go home that night because he actually deals with shitty people that actually carry weapons and that aren't afraid of actually pulling a trigger against them, like, every day, you
And it's
know?
always the people. It's always the people that have never gone through that shit that talk about it or talk against it. It's like you've never been a cop and gone through something like that, but all of a sudden you want to go and say, no, as a cop you should be doing it. It's like, okay, go be a cop and see what happens. It's exactly the same what I was saying to you about yesterday as well. It's like all of us can say, oh my gosh, you know what we can do? We can go and solve the ESCOM system by just making sure that you put this grid there, take that grid there, you make this one pay this. And you say, oh, okay. Well, do you think perhaps that you could be the CEO of ESCOM maybe tomorrow? No, 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 I can't do that. It's like, oh, but I mean, you have all the answers. Why don't you think you can be that? So
Because we,
it's exactly something like that. Yeah, it's being blind to what you're blind about. You don't know the things that you don't know. But when you ask from it from afar, you have all the answers. And then when someone says, "Okay, cool, tell me about your life. How are you trying to solve that?" No clue.
yeah, so, yeah, yeah. But hey, it's unfortunate, but someone else to do it. Like most people, that are like, for example, like will go to ESCOM. Like most engineers that work at like construction firms or whatever firms don't actually want to get into, politics. So what's left? The people that study law and all of that end up doing it because, the pros, people like being hands-on, that don't like being admin and all of that, generally tend not to be involved in that sort of side. So it leaves that gap as well. So you do
Mm,
have this gap of like people who aren't necessarily in South Africa at least that aren't necessarily qualified to do that, but they're actually willing to do it because the people that are able to do it don't want to do it for
mm,
the reason that we mentioned about there's red tape, blah blah blah. I
mm.
like being hands on, full control, whatever it is. I don't like having the admin, the bureaucracy, sitting in meetings with suits, blah blah blah. So at the
Yeah.
same time,
They
something has
understand the task that it comes with, and they'd rather not. And then those that don't understand it will then want to go in there and just say, "Cool, let me do it." It looks easy enough until they unravel it, and then it's by the time it gets mad out of control, then they're out of office.
100%. And then the people they're like, I thought you thought it was easy, but like, okay, sure, but like, why didn't you just do it then? Saying that you know better. And then,
Yeah.
like you said, it's easy to commentate. It's easy to commentate than to play now.
Mm. Yeah, bro. Mishka, you want to say something?
Nah, not yet.
Oh, okay.
I,
Yeah,
yeah,
bro. So yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. It happens all the time. Like now, it's elections now, and then
yeah,
after whoever wins after this thing, everyone's gonna go back into what they're doing, gonna forget about the politicians, and then straight back to work. That's why I always say it's always just easier to focus on your own life, focus on the things that you struggle with every day, and the depression that you struggle with, and the family that you struggle with, and your personal goals that you struggle to make and create, and the job that you're trying to leave, or the jobs that you're trying to get, and like focus on something that's attainable to you, at least at this point in time. The things that are gonna make you sleep better at night. Trying to, yeah, sometimes try to fight and um trying to fight and also solve world issues. You find that they're so complicated, and then it's tough for you to look at your own ones personally. The ones that you can actually solve now by doing something now, by drawing up a schedule. You can solve what you're going to do tomorrow. So it's always easier for me that way.
always, yeah. Dish, bro. I was watching the show the other day. Um, we had Joel and 99 for translation now. Maybe you can translate for our other esteemed guests, bro. They're on their seventh season, bro. And like it had me thinking, bro. Dude, this thing is actually a pandemic, eh? Infidelity, bro. And what always gets me, dog, when it's like a female complainant calling about, the male, bro. Why, why do they fight the other female, bro, that male is involved with, eh? Like, I can't fathom that, dog. 7 seasons on, bro.
Mishka,
Like,
maybe you
yo,
can answer that. Why don't the
like,
females on these shows fight the other females, and they tend to fight their men?
like he's the infidel one in this whole thing. But like, it's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, he's gone. What are you actually doing? Like, and it's not race. Like, it's all colors I've seen. They all do the same thing.
Mishka, tell me.
I don't know. What are you asking me?
Ask me a question again.
Okay, so
Can
what
you see your
happens in the
face,
show?
Mika, first?
Okay, so what happens in the show is right. A female complainant or a complainant in a relationship will complain that their partner is cheating. So then there's this guy who will investigate, like, yo, just to confirm if their suspicions are true or not. Okay, so maybe 80% of the time, from what I've found, like even the male sometimes will fight the other guy, like, yo, that's my woman, bro. Wow, wow, wow. Like, yo, this actually not typecasted. Them start typecasted. Like even you, okay, maybe not you, but like from what I've seen so far at least. And so anyway, it's okay, not to digress too much. Anyway, yeah. So they phone in, and then this guy investigates, and then you find the information. Then you come back and tell you, yeah, your partner is involved with someone else. I don't know if you want to see what if you want to see them in the act, or you're just gonna let it go. So chances
So
are
keep it.
that
Keep it.
that yeah, you see. So that complainant now will be like, no, I want to go see them. So now when they go to like wherever, the complainant's partners with the third party, in this scenario, the person that he or she is involved with, it's a she in this scenario. They'll get there and then they'll start a scene, either shout or physically attack, abuse that person's like partner that they involved with, not necessarily the partner. Obviously, they'll be angry at the partner, but they want to also, cause crack at the partner who is cheating with. Like, yo, like this person is neutral in all of this. Like, they didn't know, or they did know. Sometimes they know, but like I thought it was gonna end because he kept saying, or she kept saying, like, no, he's gonna leave him. Wow, 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 wow. So I thought he was waiting on. Wow, wow, wow. Kanti. Hey, why, guys? Seventh, and it's still funny as hell for me. Maybe I have not been in such situations as well. It's just checking if I'm not being watched. So, yeah,
I don't
why,
know.
guys?
I
Like
don't
it's
know. I
Mister,
honestly,
put your video on.
it is on.
It's not. I can't see you.
I
My
can
video's
say
on, bruh.
it is on here.
Really?
Yeah,
Try to switch it on and back off, back off and back
I
on
just
again.
did. I just did.
That's crazy. Let me. How's that possible?
not,
Can you see me?
No, you're off
not
now.
anymore. You
I
off
just
now?
see
Yeah.
your profile picture.
Oh well, it's your unlucky day.
Just go off
Yes,
and come
but
back on again.
she's going green. Going green.
Don't do nothing, bro.
You seriously want me to
Mission?
leave and come back?
Yeah, I can't see you, so it's awkward. Like, I don't know when you stop speaking.
So what now?
Just go off and come back on.
Okay.
Fue tu pra Mjolo, bro. Hey, it's a pandemic, bro. How far is the vaccine, bro? For that,
Hey?
dog. How far is the
Oh,
vaccine from Jolo, bro? Is it
I
on the
do have to
way?
say,
Like,
though, I do have to say, just to answer your question before she does, is how many investigations do those shows actually go through compared to how many they actually show?
yo, that I wish they could disclose.
They wouldn't. They're trying to make a show. So
But,
that's
but
also something
I go,
they probably know. Oh, there we go. Sorry, Mish, I was trying to answer this question quick about that, saying that these shows, for example, how many of those things of those infidelity stuff that do they actually show versus how many they actually investigate? So, like almost like again, like in advertising, how many pictures do you take of a person compared to what you actually post? You're gonna post the ones that you would think that will get the most whatever reactions or likes or whatever it is, because that's what you're trying to sell, right? So when you then get a positive reaction from those ones, then every single time you try to take a picture or a video, you then post something that's going to look more like that. But then you probably take like a 1,000 pictures. So the same with these shows. It's like you might find that they investigate so many shows where it's actually ended amicably, where if someone goes in and they go to their partner and takes them away and doesn't actually cause a fight, but then how many of that stuff will actually sell?
Yeah, it's
So
like
then perhaps
idols.
the
It's
one
like
that they,
idols as well. They choose the
yeah,
best and the worst to put on TV.
yeah, exactly. And so because no one's gonna watch the mediocre stuff, and then judging from the ones that are the bad and the worst, they'll then see which ones get the most reaction, and then or the most views, and then they'll just put more of those up, and then more and more of those up, and then so then you'll find that they'll put the wooden mic and then a little bit of the golden mic as a buffer to make sure that okay, you still know what the wooden mic is, and they won't completely take away the golden mic because you still want something to compare it to. So pretty much almost similar to shows like Cheaters and shows like Chola 99, which is primarily just again they just work on views. So they see what gets the most attention, and then they put those out. And then we think that those are the narratives. We think again, it goes back to the first story that we're talking about now with this whole Black Lives Matter
But I
thing,
think,
or
but
this
I
whole
think, okay.
gender-based violence.
But sorry, what's your name? I didn't get your name.
Oh, my name is Daniel.
Sorry?
Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So just to answer your question, like if I was on that show, I'd probably go for the guy and not the girl. But that's just me. But then also I was just thinking so Daniel made the point of like it's what 7 seasons on, but the fact that it's so far means that majority of these
It's,
reactions are what you're seeing on TV. Because I mean, how many people are actually requesting this kind of investigation
we're
to
talking
happen?
about like 30 episodes a season. So that's
Yeah,
like
that's
more than
like
like
I think
200.
that's enough to justify that that is the standard of reactions that happen when someone finds out that they're being cheated on.
I don't know.
You
I
know,
don't know.
here, I don't know how it works like in other places, but like here, like
Yeah.
at least here, like it's crazy for me. Like why? I mean, maybe one day, maybe it's the emotion. Like a lot of these people, like you, we've been dating for more than 2 years, 3 years. There's like some special. There's okay, not some special, a special bond. For the sake of sensitivity, there's a special bond that they have. So like that'll invoke the emotion that creates these things, which is perfectly understandable. I mean, I personally, to this point, probably haven't felt that way about someone, so I maybe can't relate to someone who has felt that way about someone, and they thought they felt that way about someone, that other person felt the same way about them, but so I don't know.
Well, unless it's just all
Yeah,
scripted, unless there's an incentive for the female finding out, okay, go for the female, we'll pay you so much, and then they script every episode that's being aired. Who knows?
That's a lot of scripting. That's a
could be,
lot of
could be,
scripting.
could
That
be,
means you
yeah.
have to find a lot of. I mean,
There's
those
a lot of
actors are
scripting,
really.
but I mean it's like that's why it's like a series now. And the series is a lot of scripting.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of reasons I think for that as well. I mean, like one of them is what you're saying now could be scripted. There could be incentives for it. It could be that actually they film so much more and only show a little. It could also be that even if it's not like that and people are reacting like that, it could be the fact that it's live on television and people know that it is. And people don't want to be left. So if the fact that you went out there as a person to go and try to see if your partner is cheating, first of all, means clearly that you're not, stable enough to even do it yourself to make it so public. You could do your own investigation if you really care and not make your matters public. So for the fact that you even do that to begin with means that you're very much you want things to be public and global, and there's a lot of care that you have for stuff like that. And then the fact that it's on there, you then don't want to be left, right? And therefore you go and attack the other person so that they don't leave you publicly on live television and so on and so forth. And you know that if you're not left, you can still take care of this person and kind of go crazy at him when you're in your own corner when you have him, right? But then if you're gonna go crazy at him there, the chances of him leaving you is even worse. Now you're the one that went to go find out. You found out, and you still got left now for real, and you knew it. So there's a lot of things that it could be. I personally think that a lot of people would not react to that, and that they're picking what they're going to react, or they're picking the shows that they know that gets the views and gets people riled up, just like every other show. And then if it's not that, if I'm wrong, then I do definitely think as well that the fact that you're live, you know what the show's about. You're not gonna go there and be all sweet and calm and stuff. You're gonna go and be crazy and things, and generally the other person's also gonna be mad at you. Like, why the hell are you crazy at me? And then they're gonna get riled up. And the person in the middle, which is your boyfriend or your girlfriend, is gonna be, oh, well, I'm sorry. And then you're not going to be mad at them. You're going to be mad at the other person that's going to be trying to be mad at you too. And then it ends up being a fight. And then if you win that fight, you then think that, okay, I've won him as well. So perhaps that too.
Yeah, I guess. And also, like, I think if you don't react so emotionally, you don't get that you don't get that sympathy from the viewers as well. Then you're seen as the victim. And oh my gosh, look how hurt she is. She can't control herself. And yeah.
Yeah. So there's a variety.
Is that a thing though? Like, is that a thing? Like, not being viewed as like, if you don't show like much emotion, like, oh, it's the victim. He's so hurt, he's distraught, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of it's like, they go
why would you not show emotion? That's the thing. Why else would you go on a show for them to show you what's happening, and you know that they're going to go to the place wherever this person's at, and then you're going to be calm there? Like, you could have just terminated the thing when you saw the evidence. Like, why do you need to go to where the trouble is? So
but that's what I'm saying.
Already clearly you're not. Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. Like what you're saying, like, you're thinking about this rationally, right? Like, obviously, like, someone like you, obviously, like, the show wouldn't get no views because, like, you would just see all these cameras, and then I'd be like, you see this one, she's just talking shit, this one, bro. I'm not even going to entertain this, bro. You know? But like a majority of the people that I've seen here, like Suka, like,
I've already thought about it. Actually, I've thought about exactly that. Like, I've thought about that. If I see this cat, I just would, bro, don't waste my time here, bro. I'm trying to chill here. Take this person home. Take them home. Both of them home.
Yo, bro, like, like who's the complainant actually? Like, I must actually be the one who owns the show, actually, yeah, bro. Like, who's complaining? That because I actually need to phone for that person, actually. Why is she even phoning me? Like, the audacity, actually, bro.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, the show would get no views, bro. So that's that's exactly what I'm thinking now. It would be very rational.
But like the people like that we've seen on the show, you know, don't think like rashly, like, why wants to take it to that degree of like, yo, national TV, because a lot of them is more of like, I want to really embarrass this person so that they never like, because like, you know, they've been hurt, you know, like emotionally hurt. Like there's a certain level of trust, you know, that these people like the relationshipers like share, like, no, there's a trust, like, you say these things to me in confidence, you love me, you wow, 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 but then you do this now, you see, or like some of them, it's like yo, this guy, he was keeping up with the child maintenance, then jiggy jiggy. He's not keeping it up anymore now, but there's still money on the side to have fun on the side now. So they've been hurt, in a way, So obviously now there's not that thing of, let me just let it go. Some like just can't let it go. So it's like they want to put you there on the cam, like, nah, you're gonna feel the same hurt. So some of them, like, when you're surrounded by these bodyguards, and they're holding you by the underwear there, like, where you running to? You need to face your problems, bro. Actually, dog. Like,
Well, that's exactly why it
like,
gets used, because it makes people laugh for that shit. So that's why they pick things like that. Look, also, you should look at the people that they choose for stuff like this. It's never going to be rational people. Yeah, you think about that as well. It's the people that they choose for things like this. It's almost like they're exploiting people, but those people are not really being exploited because they also want to do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. You're never going to have a show like that in Camps Bay, for example, or in like upper class, like in Dubai or something. Because most of the people that are that are cheating there, at least they know, well, you know what, I'm covered in life by this person and whatever. Because most people just look through his phone. So it's like what Morty will just ask his friends, just go out with them for a week. It's like it's very simple. But the people that they go for as well, they know that, it's the same show as, what's that other show is it The Father or something, when you're looking for your sibling or something like that?
Kumbulekaya.
Yeah. The same thing as that, bro. Like the people that they go for things like that, most other people will just go, oh, you know what, let me Google this. And Google where the person is, or where they stayed, and try to go through the family tree. So
I think you touched on something important there, bro. Like, I don't know how people feel about infidelity in general, because like you're saying, like the show, they target a certain class of people, This thing also happens of people of a certain upper class. Like if you go like let's take Jeff Bezos. Before this divorce, apparently he had like maybe hundreds of thousands, like a couple of affairs before all of this. But it's like you go there, even Bill, you go there and it's like, bro, I know he does this, but like, I'm good. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, as now, is it now, but now, is it now, like, is it now, are we talking about, like, like, is it love now here, or it's about, but the bag, though? Like, why must I cry who he sleeps with as long as I'm getting some cash anyway, type of thing? Like,
those people can just settle it with money. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Whereas the people they use for this show, they've only got their face, their reputation, and that's the thing that they need to save.
And I guess for them, like, that guy's 400 rand for like the rent for like that back room. That's it for me. Otherwise, I'm out of there, type of thing. But like, for them,
and I also am reliant on that. I also, as much as it's little, I also rely on that too.
Yeah.
So I actually need to keep this guy because I need a place to sleep tonight.
And so when he starts like not paying that 400, it's actually a problem, like in terms of like how my lifestyle is, type of thing.
Yeah.
But like, are we saying like certain people can be infidel? Like we don't want to like.
It's not that. I think it's just the people that they target on these shows are people that are going to be more easily willing to be there on those shows. It's like if you're going to go against Bill Gates and put them on that show, you're more likely to get nothing. Because you will then just get lawyers and lawyers against you to absolutely annihilate you for trying to push him down like that, regardless of whether it's truthful or not. It's not illegal to do stuff like that, right? So he can absolutely annihilate you. So, but if you're going to go for us, what am I going to do, bro? Like, you put me on that show, I'm going to pay nothing to fucking, try to get you back. For what? I barely can even have a snack. Like the date that I took the chick at is all I have. In fact, she took me there. So
like do you even know your rights? First of all, like you're about to air my face. Like you're about to air my face. about to air my
Huh?
face on TV without my consent. Like that's, you
Exactly.
know, how many people
Exactly.
know that?
What exactly? Or care about it, or have the wherewithal to
Or
even follow
care,
through with it. You're just happy that,
or
oh,
have the
flip, okay, now I'm famous. And then the next week you
Mm,
get put on Facebook. Oh, look, you're this chick that's famous. You know what? I should
exactly.
start a clothing line. I should try to start a, whatever it is. I can be a meme or a song. And now I kickstarted my career by being a cheater. It's
Mm,
perfect. So it's a win-win situation for certain people.
yeah.
You know.
there was there was actually someone who was on Date My Family that actually appeared on that show. Actually, funny enough, like they
Look,
actually,
show hopping, show
bro,
hopping.
go,
Mm. I mean, look, it happens with
bro, yeah.
Geordie Shore and things like that. What's these? I forgot these other shows where they'll come up with the one show and then they'll be popular enough, and then when they create another show, Sex on the Beach, then boom, you're there as well.
Mm,
Then people know you, your face, and they know what you're about, and now you're a persona, and then boom, you're on the next show. You're on Inked, you're on, whatever it is, and now they use your face, and now you have a show starting from, sleeping around in a little room together at, Big Brother's house, and now all of a sudden you're popular and you're on these shows and you're jumping around on Cheaters, you're on
doing
Ricky
adverts.
Lake, you're
Mm,
on
Ricky
Jerry
Lake.
Springer doing adverts.
Now, so now, yeah,
You're
so now
there,
you
bro.
now the face of sexual decadence and infidelity. Now, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you
And
can
then
tell
you
me
can even
TV
then
now.
when you want to turn your life around, you speak against it. I was once like this, but I
Mm,
Wow.
urge everyone else. Now you're a campaign, and now you're part of a political talk, and now boom, you're done.
Bro,
That's Donald Trump's area.
there's actually a show like that. It's called We Are Pools. That's about these guys that just drink. Like, yo, this guy's
Well,
actually has a problem. And then they try to intervene. Now the show comes and intervenes. Like, people, like the family members call, like, yo, bruh, this guy will get his wage for like a K. And then you'll find him there at the tavern. And you'll come back and come with stories. But he'll be, and now the intervention is like, yo, now you appear in that show, like, yo, bro, ever since he got that fame from Weird Jola and then all the TV rights and he wants to do ads with Nivea, ish, without brand shaming anyone there, bro, with these big corporates, wow. So now you there now, ish, like, yo, like,
yeah,
man,
and what do you get for being an alcoholic? You just went and spent your money on a psychologist, and now you barely drinking less, and you have no show, and you have no money because the psychologist absolutely rinsed you. So
mm,
look, at the end of the day, they have a point. That's why they do it. But I mean, that's why I'm saying I don't watch these shows that often to kind of pay too much attention to it because rationally it makes no sense. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna go and spend all that money on a psychologist to fix your drinking problem. So well, I might as well just drink, call these people to come and fix the problem for me. Home care.
yo,
Yeah,
I was
I
out.
mean, why not do a show like that about gangsters as well? Go to Mitchell's Plain, go to Googs, go to any place that's ripe with gangsters, and make a
Bro,
show about that. And
have you actually seen what's going on in Mama Lodi, bro? Just to give some
oh,
clout. There's a John Wick that's been killing members of the Boko Haram gang. Listen, bro, like, yo, this guy has been going on and he's been like killing all the top members of this gang, the Boko Haram gang that's been like controlling most of Mama Lodi. I think he's done like 10 people now or something like that. Yo,
it's
but you're
clout,
right.
clout.
Some bro, it's really something like that should actually go on about what actually happens with these gangs, eh? But yo, I don't know
Yeah,
who's
but
watching.
yeah, that's another. Well, that's also another way that men climb up a hierarchy as well, is to commit crime. If you're a guy and you commit crime, you're feared, and if you're feared, then all the other guys fear you, and you're more likely then to get girls because then no one's gonna want to contest you, and no girl's gonna want to reject you.
You know, I was actually thinking, like this crime thing, this like, okay, like most people, like okay, what I'm talking about is SA now, like aren't afforded the opportunity of furthering their studies, and further advancing. So, you end up finding yourself doing like some other, remedial jobs if you don't go into entrepreneurship just to have some source of income. But like most of these things, in terms of pay, it's fine, but like in terms of growth over the long term, it's very, very stagnant. So what's another alternative? Just to go into crime and like crime for some reason here, like it kind of pays in the
It
immediate
does.
term and like if you know how to coerce some of the legal systems and the constitution, you can
Mm.
sort of get by for a while before it eventually catches up. But in that time it catches up, you can actually live life like you're saying, like
Mm.
yo, you can spend, you can ball out, you can do all these amazing things if you know what you're doing and you don't draw too much attention to yourself or what. So it's like without digressing too much, it's like
Wow, 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 wow.
everybody has dreams, bro. Everybody wants to drive a nice German machine or an American machine one day, or stay in a decent house and like not be in a shack or in a location or something, to be in a nice suburb type of thing. How you get there it really depends on the circumstances that's afforded to you. Some like you are fortunate to, further studies and get formal jobs, office jobs, and then you can have those opportunities. Others, it's like, yo, if I sell so much without having too many intermediaries and runners and all of that, I can also afford the same lifestyle. Or if I have enough to save up some capital to open my own club or my own
Mm.
tavern or my own car wash, blah, 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 I can still afford the same lifestyle. How I get there is not necessarily the same as you or me type of thing. You understand? Without, digressing too much. So it's like, yeah, if you're not like someone who's in the suit, you end up being a gangster because you end up getting to the same place, although it's different. And both have their own challenges. You're dealing with EMS and having to make DP for an exam, having to pass, hoping the lecturer understands what you wrote on that paper and makes sense to them, versus trying to beat the law. Like you're looking over your shoulder every time. You're
Mm.
carrying illegal stuff on you, or you're hoping you're not gonna get raided one day, or some rival gang whose turf you're stepping on doesn't break into your home one day. Like, yo, you're actually stepping on my turf. That's my bread now that you're encroaching on, type of thing. You understand? So it's like it's either one or the other type of thing to get to the same place of being comfortable type of thing. So without digressing too much, to getting back to your point, it's like um everybody wants to win, bro. So I don't really judge how you get there type of thing. Obviously you hope like how you actually hope like back to the whole thing of if there's good governance and the people who are in government aren't eating the money and people are actually the monies for universities are actually getting there, the roads are fixed, businesses work properly. In a perfect world, we actually don't actually need to commit crime because everything is there, everything is afforded to us, type of thing. But obviously, it's not like that. This is where we are, so it's either one or the other type of thing. But like we all want to be in that space where we can just be comfortable, type of thing. Yeah.
You just
I
described
think
the
it,
plot of Power.
yeah, I really
The
think that, um,
You just described the plot of the series Power with Ghost and Tommy.
dude, Ghost is actually a legend, bro.
Hmm.
Tommy is the hothead now in this whole thing.
But yeah, what are you saying, Mishi?
I'm just like, I just want to say, like, I think these things really just come down to your morals and values. And morals have been out the window for such a long time. So you can't really expect people or citizens to run or do life on that if the people who's governing them don't. So whether it's politics or trying to make an income, as long as you get to the end, no one gives a shit how you got there. Whether you're a gangster
No one,
or you went to study, people's just gonna look at where you end up, and then that's it. like,
I'm
yeah, so,
just think about hip hop artists, bro. Like in all their songs, they tell you, "Yo, I used to sell crack," but they sold
mm,
crack to make that $1,000 to buy to have enough money to get studio time to
yeah.
record a track.
Yeah,
You
but yeah,
understand?
look, even with that, like I mean, I think the common thing about all of this is working.
Yeah.
It's just putting in work. So regardless of what you're doing, if you're putting in work, you'll be working in order to not be caught, for example, or you'll be working in order to make an honest living. But if you're not going to work, then you're just going to fall off. So that's what
Mm,
it comes down to as well. Is like, okay, yeah, we're all struggling and we're all trying to make it somewhere, regardless of where we all start. I can be
mm,
struggling having 1,000 US dollars, and someone else can be struggling having 1,000,000 US dollars. At the end of the
mm.
day, we still need to work, and we still need to work
Yup.
either to get it or to keep it.
Yeah,
So
and
if
like,
I'm going to divorce the work from it, and then try to then steal from someone else and not get the trust together, then I'm
mm,
going to then have that stolen away from me. So it's a very slippery slope, but you can't divorce work from it. When you talk about all these rappers and whatever, these people that have made it out, and even the politicians, the one thing that you can't take away from is that they work for it. They
yeah.
absolutely not work for it. If
Mm,
you don't work for it, you fall off. And you see it like you can sell crack and go and make it single, and then you sell and you're on the top of the charts and you're making money. Okay, what are you going to do next? Now you've got that single, you need to work to make another one and another one and another one.
mm,
And then the ones that fall off, they fall off, and you never hear about them again. Then you
yeah.
have the people like Jay-Z and Eminem and all these guys that they don't even know what they're worth because they're there to work. They're there to do what they love. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Everyone's on the same boat. We're here now, and we're doing what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's like the ones that kind of most of the time make it out is the ones that put in the work. There's no
Mm,
substitute for that, for real.
Yeah, hundred
And
percent, dog. I'm glad you said that thing. The guy who's trying to get that 1,000, and the guy who's trying to have that million, it's the same work. Like sometimes
exactly.
mm,
when I drive past, because I'm fortunate enough to drive, and then someone asks me, "Yo, do you have the?" Someone asks like, "Yo, do you have 10 rand?" Sometimes I want to tell them, "Yo, bro, I actually have credit card debt, eh? Like I
mm,
wish
Yeah,
I could. I know you see me driving, but I
mm,
actually am in the same boat as you. If I miss this payment, the bank is coming to get my car, and that's it. And I'm with you
exactly.
with the blanket asking for the same 10 rand that you want, dog.
Exactly. And,
mm.
and and even then, the person that's walking is fortunate enough to walk. Because there's some people that can't walk. So we're all fortunate enough to have a life. There's some people with no life. So there's all trying to rank each other to try to be the worst person off doesn't work because it's always going to be someone worse off than you, regardless of how you want to see it. You might be better off to me now, but then there's someone that's better off to me now too. So now what? So yeah, there's people that can't walk. There's people in wheelchairs. They're also privileged to even be alive. There's
Oh, to
certain
have a
people that have
wheelchair.
got.
Because there's someone
Oh,
who can't get a
exactly.
wheelchair.
Most people have a wheelchair. Exactly.
Yo, but
Exactly.
like salute to some of those guys that you see like they've got those metal braces on their legs, and you can see like their legs are like all contorted and all of that, and they've got these
Those are the people
crutches.
that make you. Those are the people that make you look at your life and see. Oh, actually, not all the shit that I've been complaining about. I'm actually very, very, very privileged. I might be
Like
fighting against I might be fighting against this party, and I might be fighting against these chicks, and I might be fighting against these guys and work and that. And you look at people like that it's like like the corner streets, you see them everywhere. The guys that sell like what do you call this? Oranges and apples and bananas at the robots.
The hawkers, yeah.
Yeah. So those guys, it's like they're out there, bro, like 12 hours a day, sweating, selling to people that are moody as shit,
Mm,
angry and make them feel like they're just the worst type of people. They stink most of the time. They don't see their families half the day. They're on their feet all the time, begging you just to buy a banana, bro. They could
mm,
have chosen crime. They could have just said, fuck it, let me just steal your car and hijack you right now, and then I have a
mm,
car. But then by doing that, then they'll have to live with that, with the risk of dying their whole life, or their risk of dying probability even higher their whole life. So they choose not to. They could just chill in there wherever they stay and then shoot guns all the time and sell crack, and they'll make more money. But then it's like, okay, well then where does that life lead to? It probably will lead to Pollsmore. It probably will lead to jail. So you know what? I'm better off just selling a whole 3 rand banana, and how much profit I'm gonna make? It's enough for me to not be in jail.
Never forget, bro, the state, whatever state you're in, will always win, bro. I was watching this interview with Israel Zulu, one of some big actor, Ma Orange. I'm sure you know him.
No.
Okay, yeah, Israel Zulu. I'll send a link,
I think
bro.
Mishka knows him.
Huh?
Mishka knows him. She knows the black guys.
Dude, he was in Yizo, bro. But anyway, I'll drop a link, like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like, bro, with crime, dog, it ends the same, dog. You will either end up in Pollsmore or in a coffin. Okay, we're all in a coffin, but maybe sooner, but you never know when your time is as well. But it all ends the same. You have to, at some point, get behind the state. So the best way to be behind the state is to be in the state, where you can now change the regulations and the law and stuff like that, so that you're not seen as above the state, but like, yo, maybe one day someone would legalize, like someone legalized tobacco. Like tobacco was like liquor, maybe 100 years, 200 years ago was illegal making your own liquor. Now it's acceptable to make your own liquor, or just in jail to sell liquor, type of thing. Like now it's acceptable 100 years later on. Like if you told someone 20 years ago, yo, there's gonna come a time where you can just go and buy alcohol from a shop, they'll be like, how, bro? Is that even possible, bro? Like, everybody sees this thing as taboo, but one day someone made a legislation knowing how bad the effects of alcohol is and the effects that it does to your body. Like, till this day, like, yo, it will kill you at some point if you just drink or if you just smoke, but now it's legal, type of thing. The state will catch you if you commit crime at some point. Like, yo, you'll always be looking over your shoulder. If it's not the police that gets you, some rival gang that also steals cars in the same neighborhood, that strips it to parts and sells it, will be like, no, you're now taking the cars we targeting now. So it's either you work for us and you steal for us, bring it to us, you make less, or we're gonna off you, bro, because you're stepping on what we eat. Comes back to what money, bro.
Yeah, that's basically the summary of everything that we spoke about. That's what the taxi war was about. That's what the Uber taxi thing was about. You know, it wasn't about the police or anything. That's what the Fees Must Fall thing was about. You know, at the end of it, it was like, oh look, yeah, it was like, hey, look, don't now come and close our venues and you're trying to write exams. You know, it wasn't about the police anymore trying to stop you. You know, it's about the same people that you're trying to fight with that are trying to stop you, because now they actually have their own personal agendas as well. That's what all these things are about. It's about the fact that you then think that the group is more powerful than your own individual self. You go out there and you try to fix the world, you don't fix yourself. And then whatever groups that you put yourself in, they'll end up devouring you at some point. They'll end up coming back and trying to eat you alive. So that's why it's easier to always try to make sure that you have, or you do what you need to do with your own self. You know, that's the state that you need to be in. You are a state yourself. You know, change your values and systems. Change the things that you think about, the way you think about stuff, how you treat people, how you treat yourself, before you want the state to start treating you better. Start with yourself. Start with those little things that you can't solve yourself, and you try to just jump and skip over. You know, start with those things that eat you up. You know, start with that stuff, and then everyone will do that with themselves. So that no one will tell someone else to do something else, and you'll do it yourself. You know where to start. You know, start where you need to start. And as soon as you do that, that's where you'll find that things will get a bit easier and easier for you. But you have to put in the work. But at least you
100%.
how to start with the work.
100%. I'm glad you mentioned Uber. Like you just have to think about there's certain places they can't go. It's like, yo,
Yeah,
there's already a taxi network or like private cab network in that area, but now Uber's coming with that thing of, yo, we offer cheaper rides to go to the same place, but now you're encroaching into that space of no, this is how it works here, and now you're doing things lower than that. If you keep coming in here, we're gonna mess it up for
yeah.
you now.
So
You're
instead of
encroaching on what we eat.
competing, let me off you.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
like yeah, like you said,
yeah, because competing means that I have to work. So if I'm lazy, I'm gonna want to work. So therefore, I'll just off you. Come here and I'm just gonna slow it. But then you don't know. But what happens is that exact same mentality is how you get slaughtered.
yes, if you live by the sword, chances are, like you
Because
say, the
then you
problem
start
is crime.
that's why I'm saying it's a small thing that we're thinking about it, but it's actually it's a bigger global thing because again it's like you can be territorial over your space around an Uber, right? And then say if an Uber comes into your space, you're off them, right? And then you also now are in a space whereby you can't go to Mitchell's Plain if you are in Kainicha. Because the people in Mitchell's Plain are going to off you. And then even in Mitchell's Plain, you can go to Tafelsig because the people in Portland are going to off you. And then it just keeps going and going and going. And then everyone's kind of, well, I don't know where to go. I don't stay in my space. And they're using the exact same principles that you're justifying to then off the Uber. So the exact same principles that you're using, they're using it to themselves. And that's what the whole racism debate is about. That's what the whole gender debate is about. That's what all these political debates is about. Is that, okay, you want
Yeah,
to use the quota system? Okay, feminists are going to then use the gender quota system. Now you can't say anything because they're using the same principles that you're using.
you're
And
right.
then
Though,
they
100 years ago, you're right. 100 years ago, it was only Caucasians. Now 100 years later on, now we only want blacks. Like what's
yeah,
changed? What do
yeah,
they call it? Reverse racism. Trying to
yeah,
re-justify what was wrong then to fix
yeah,
now. So what's gonna happen next? 100 years from now, only
yes,
kids can be politicians. Then
yeah,
100 years on, only adults can be politicians. And that's why MLK, one of my favorite, leaders of all time. What point is it? Yo, what skills do you have? If we're
yes,
gonna be, if we're gonna be impartial, let's put it based on what can you do, not like what traits that you have, bro. Like, I also sometimes want to feel like, yo, I'm in this job because I'm filling up a quota. I am actually here because I actually know what I'm doing, type of
So
thing,
that's why that the power of that group mentality then comes back and bites you as well. Because you thinking, oh, okay, I'm a victim, so therefore, if I'm not going to speak against the quota system. Okay, cool. Get into a job, and people say, ah, you're a quota. Then you can say, no, I'm not. And they're going to say, prove it. And what are you going to say? Nothing. Can't say shit. Oh, well, how do you prove it? Well, you should have fought against the quota system because it actually is demeaning to you. But you didn't because you felt as though you're the victim. But now it's demeaning. So what do you do now? Can't fight it now because it's got you there. So when you were part of the whole thing, you didn't say anything because it was nice. And now when you see that, oh shit, this whole wheel is coming back, I need to actually go and fight for it. You get to a point where it's too late. Then what?
nothing, bro. I'm sure, one day,
Yeah, that's
bro, the
exactly
whole
what happens. Look, it's like even going back to the cricket, it's the same thing. It's like Quinton de Kock, Markram, and Rabada, for example, all played together. I'm pretty sure they all know each other and they all know how they feel about certain topics, right? And all of a sudden they have this CSA thing, right? Quinton's probably thinking, hey, but guys, you know I'm not racist. So like, what's going on? I thought we were supposed to all fight for this thing. I thought we all here because we're good enough, right? And then what do the other guys say? Well, look, I can't see it because I benefit from it. So like, I'm not gonna try to fight against this. I said, oh, really? Okay, shit, okay, cool, guys, right, cool. Then you have a female cricket player that's gonna come to the CSA board and is gonna say, look, I've always in my life wanted to play cricket for South Africa for the men's team. So can I get a quota system because I'm female? And then what? Why would you not put her in the team if you can justify putting someone else in the team because of their color?
Mm.
And then it just keeps going on and on and on and on. And then only then the guys will then rile up and say, no, 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 the girl can't do that. It's like, how? Well, when it was a white guy, you could do that. So you got to be careful with these things again, bro. It's like the best thing you can actually do is look after your own stuff. We all have issues, man. We all have how things that we need to fix, that you know you need to fix. You know the family problems that you have, the own personal mental issues that you have, you know. And sometimes having conversations like this is nice to get out of that space. Just like drinking, just like having a party, just like going out to get out of that space so that you don't get consumed by your own thoughts. But you know for a fact that after you come back from that space, your thoughts are waiting for you, you know, and you have to pick them off, otherwise they'll pick you off, you know, so that's the best you can do. But some people run away from that so much so that by the time they come back, their thoughts are just waiting to consume them. And then that's how you get your mental diseases, you know, because you just ran away so much of the things that you could have done, but now you ran away from them so far that they become so big that they consume you.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
You see this in families when someone passes away, when they don't talk about stuff and someone passes away, and all of a sudden, all family things come back from 20 years ago. They could have been solved then, but no. You see this when you have a partner. You fight with your chick now and you let it go. And then flipping 2 years later or a year later, you have a small fight about something. Boom. Well, remember, you're like this and you're like that and you're like this. And then it's too big to even, you don't know where to start. And then you break up over something so small. But it's actually been for 20 years. So you're better off trying to solve. Life gives you enough problems for yourself only. Like it's more than enough. Like living is a problem. Growing is a problem. You have to pay rent. Yeah, you have to pay rent every month. That's a problem for you every month. And just to pay rent, you need to eat every day. That's a problem for you every day, personally. How are you going to buy that? I was talking to this chick the other day about like how something as small as Daniel or Mishka wake up and go buy electricity pisses someone off. You know, it's like it seems like such a small thing. You know, like go buy electricity, but underneath that is so many webs that you haven't that it encompasses. You know, because to buy electricity, you need to have the money for it. To have the money for it, you need to have the job to have money for it. Because it's not just going to be today's electricity, it's going to be tomorrow and the next day and the next month and so on. So that means that you have to have a constant job to buy electricity. Which means then you're going to have to then be buying electricity all the time. And then it's not just electricity, but it's also other things. And how are you going to buy those things? Oh, well, that actually means that then you need to now have gone to school to have done that. Or at least studied or have to get the job. Okay, so then why didn't you go to school? Oh, well, you know what? I didn't have finance. And why didn't you have finance? And it just keeps going. And this all stems from wake up and go buy electricity. And it just absolutely floors you. Because then everything else comes up. So that's more than enough problems. You know, there's certain things that piss all of us off that seem small, but the reason why they piss us off is because they have so many webs underneath them. You know, it's the same thing as like if you ask a woman what her weight is, it's not that they don't know what their weight is. Because that thing fucking has so many things underneath it. Now I've been bullied and that day I almost hit someone and then this person hit me and I've been trying to cut my wrist because I used to lose weight and I had mental problems and my mom used to do this and that all stems from what's your weight. And you can just jump on a scale and tell me what your weight is, but it's not just that. So there's a lot of webs that life gives you more than enough every day. You know, you get off this live and then you think, shit, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. That's it. That's problems within itself. Shit, I need to do this before I go to bed. Shit, I forgot how to do this. Oh my gosh, my mom that, or my kids this, and You know, I need to sort this out. Oh, fuck it. Let me go to sleep. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Tomorrow's the problem. Tomorrow you wake up, you have 600 other problems. Then you say, shit, you know what? Let me go and try to solve world hunger. Fuck, what are you going to eat?
100%, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot, bro. Yes, dog.
I saw you guys zone out there and start thinking about your own problems. Shit.
No, I was
I was
actually,
like, why the F is this guy keeping us on here if he's mentioning this?
Fuck. Shit.
I actually,
That's why you feel guilty. Yeah, you feel guilty because of that. 'Cause like, shit. I should have invested that money. I shouldn't have spent that 1,000 rand. I should have done this. I should have eaten Nando. I knew I shouldn't have eaten it. Now I've got all this weight. Shit, I need to go to gym.
Oh shit, I just
Go to
wasted an
gym.
hour on here with Lungi.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but then the things like this that you feel as though actually by having conversations like this, you can step back and see the whole picture, and you know that it's not just yourself that goes through shit like this. Everyone goes through it. Everyone's gonna go through it, and the more you try to run away from it, it doesn't get anywhere. You know, and then at least you'll get off and think, yeah, okay, so now I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, and I need to do it. You become
yeah,
more
guys. Yeah, too much. You know, when I zoned out, I actually got like a tweet. You know, Twitter is a problem these days. Like, I actually just saw a tweet now, then I quickly opened it. I don't know if it paused me or something when I read the tweet, but like I was going through Twitter, bro, and then like, you know, these hashtags that that come out. You know, there'll be those top 5 hashtags. It depends, obviously, where you are. Like, that's trending in your area or like your interest. You know, maybe Twitter now, it's typecasting me now, man, So
what
now,
are you
like,
saying?
there's a hashtag of like, the votes, IEC, please go vote because it's election day, yeah. So now, like,
Asking
some
me
of the,
personally, boy.
no, so like, nah, like, that's what's trending, right? And then it shows you the top ones. So, like, obviously, some of the top ones, people are posting the, yo, please vote. I voted ANC, hashtag IEC 2021. But then some of them now, bro, like, it's like a picture of this girl wearing like some jeans or like some skirt. They like, hi guys, I'm looking for followers. Please vote as well. Hashtag IEC. Like, dude, like maybe
Yeah,
now, maybe Twitter saying something about me now as well. There's sort of things I follow and what I'm interested in, but like I actually see that too much, dog, these days, bro. Like, yo, you just see some girl wearing something skimpy, quote unquote skimpy. Yo,
yes, on your stuff, do you see a lot of girls that are like half naked and stuff?
What do you mean my
yeah,
stuff?
bro.
Like half naked or skimpy dresses and things like that.
Maybe. I follow a lot of fashion stuff, so yeah, most of the time.
So then,
I for
okay.
me,
Yeah,
for me,
it's
it's not
always like
fashion. It's
that.
like,
And it's what we
like,
think, bro. They know exactly what we're thinking and what will sell. They'll give you exactly that. Or Daniel likes them thick. Let's give Daniel
bro.
thick and let them wear an ANC top. And he's
And
definitely
the
gonna
and
go
the
for
and the
him.
fact that there's so
You'll
many in
tell-
the retweets are in the 10,000, the likes are in the 40,000, bro. Like, are we here now, bro? And like,
Yeah,
yo,
bro.
Well,
I'm trying to gain followers and
but she's
stuff.
obviously an opportunist.
Yeah. You have to be, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
He's again, he's
it's got
putting in the
nothing to
work,
do with
bro.
the
What do you
hashtag, but it's gonna reach so many people. So,
You know, there's
putting in
this
the
one,
work.
there's this one person I stalk. I'm a private message you guys. The person, she's famous. She's famous, for sexual activities that she does on the side on OnlyFans. And then,
Oh yeah, we want to just talk about that as well.
to check, bro. So like now she had a post there, like she's hosting these secret parties. You only get the location, if you pay a certain amount. I think it's 5K for the next one. I think sometime next week. Not that I have it, but if I have it, I would probably be thinking a different sort of tune. But anyway, so then now someone retweets like, "Yo, what if we wanna, have a round?" with you and Jay at this sex party, bro.
Like
And
a
then it's
like a
like,
drink round, like a round of
no,
drinks.
She's the drink.
no.
Oh,
Yeah, she's the consumable in this scenario, bro. And then and then she replied to the tweet. I was actually surprised because these verified people feel the type of way about replying to certain tweets. And she's like, "Yo, 150K for a round, dog."
150K.
150K. And then Jiggy, that garnered so many comments. People like 150K, so that's like what, 3-4 the whole night. And it's like, yo, I'm thinking, do people actually would pay just, to consume for a night, bro?
I mean,
150,000.
they would, bro. Yeah, they would. I know certain places where
Yo,
stuff like that is very, very. It's a business. It's allowed. It's massive because you find a massive amount of guys that don't get any chicks that are willing to do anything to feel wanted at least. So of course they'll pay. That's why men make the money. Like, what else are we gonna use it for? If you don't have a family, fuck, bro, let me use it on
it's
sexual
actually
desire.
it's actually these people who have families, that actually do it more than the people that don't. Because the people that don't have that thing of, bruh, I'm like this, bruh, why must I pay? Oh, but now you have a family, but now you have to protect your reputation now because you can't be seen as that guy. So you need something discreet and all of that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's hectic.
Yeah. Also, when you have a family, you're probably not gonna be able to have affairs anyway. So you
And
just
and
you just
and
defend as someone that doesn't get chicks.
bro, and these affairs, when you have a family, when you're married, whatever constitution, it actually has a problem now when you want to like break up because now your assets are involved now. If you're married and you the property now, you can't just in jail like, bro, I'm done with you. No, you're not. Actually, I'm actually gonna take all your.
No, you're not.
You're actually not.
No, the fuck you're not.
No, you fucking not. Like, no, you're not actually. Like,
Well,
you
I
actually
think
stuck.
so. I got news for you.
Like,
That's funny.
please do all of this. This is more material for my lawyer, actually. Please. More.
Keep talking smack.
Please. But like, yo, I guess it's all relative. Like, if I was a billionaire and I had 150K in jail, it's like whatever. But like, yo, I'm thinking probably, a millionaire, like, yo, 150K, like, whoa, damn, you do what? They let some of y'all go to, man, for the thing, bro. I don't know if this
But I
works
mean,
on the other side. If they sugar mamas that advertise.
But look at it this way. It's like if I said to you now that look, there's a chick that's willing to do it for five rand, you're gonna be like, fuck no, I'm not gonna do that. So to a billionaire, it's like 150K. Fuck no, I'm not gonna do that. I want someone that's gonna be for 1 million or 15 million, whatever it is. So yeah, again, you
What's
have to
the
punch
difference?
your weight.
What's the
Hey?
difference?
Hey, man.
That is the question.
What's the
What is the
difference
difference?
between the 5 rand one and the 5 million one?
Well, that's what you're paying. That's what you're paying to find out.
comes back to. I think it comes down to branding. Everyone is so
That's what
sensitive
you're paying
about
to
this.
find
Like,
out.
what's the difference between a shirt from Pep and then, without brand shaming, a shirt from Pep and then a shirt from H&M? It's the same
Yeah.
cotton, right?
Yeah, but you paid to find out.
Oh no, you also in this trap of like, nah, I'm paying for quality, bruh. Like, what do
No,
you
no,
mean?
I don't do that. I don't buy stuff like I said, I'm very rational. I wear the
I'm,
same clothes all the time. I wear the same clothes in the live all the time. So
I'm, I'm sure we're all using our Samsungs or Apples, but our Mobi cells, the Huawei's would have done the job just fine. You understand? Hey, I'm really brand saving now. Hey, sorry guys, hey, but like, yeah. What is the
yeah,
difference
bro.
though? They get the job done, right?
Depends. Some places have they actually do have better quality. It's like if you, it's like would you buy someone from a friend of yours that's going to knit something in cotton, or you're gonna go buy it at an actual shop that's gonna cost a bit more and they knit things in cotton from there. You just never know which ones are quality. You would assume that if it costs more, it's better quality. So that's why you do it.
No, I seen you. Nishinka I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But I've seen you
Mishka.
disagree. Like I saw you like really. Like I mean, the person who sells it at the shop still has to knit it anyway in some sweatshop, in some foreign land, and then they just put a sticker there
Yeah,
that
but I mean, at
everybody
least
recognizes.
there's other things that come with it. Like at least, like for stuff, like for instance, if you buy it at a shop, you can return it firstly. There's a guarantee firstly. There's also the added fact that then there's, that then it's being tested or it's gone through certain tests, whether it's a car, whether it's clothing, whatever it is. So there's a lot more trust that you can have with the things with things like that. It's the same with food. If you go buy from ShopRite or buy from Woolies, there's certain trust. You don't know where it comes from most of the time, but there's a certain trust that, you know what, I tasted it, it tastes nice, I trust it, and therefore I'd rather buy there. And you go to another shop and you see things leaking there from the fridge. You're then gonna think, fuck that, I'm not gonna buy here from ever again. You go somewhere else. But then it also depends on what price you actually put on things like that. Because I can say for me, clothes don't matter, right? But if you're gonna take me to a hospital, then it really matters, and the quality really matters, because it's now it's health, So I'm willing to pay more for health, but I'm not willing to pay more for clothes or for shoes. Where some people might say, I'm willing to pay more for a Rolex, whereas a Rolex will tell the same time as a Casio, but I just like the way that it's, whatever the hell it is. So, yeah.
Well, if we're
I mean,
talking about quality control, then I'm pretty sure the 5 Rand one went through a lot more than the 5 million one. It's been tested. So, you know,
But also, if I mean, yeah, the one that's more expensive, you would expect that less people will be able to afford it. So therefore, it's like you'll be the only one there, and you'll be exclusive.
oh, you're expecting like low mileage vibes because like not everyone can just drive it type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much, probably. That's why they put their prices that much.
but then
But I
what
guess
would
the
the
catch is,
experience be
you
like?
want more, you want like a performance, you want to like, yo, do I have like, 280 there on the odometer type of, on the speedometer type of thing? Like, yo, like I can't just
It also
pay five
depends.
grand just to pay
It
for
also
one
depends
liter
on
engine,
yourself.
bro.
It also depends on yourself if you're more about quality than quantity. Because if you have 200K and someone says 150 and you're more about quality, you might want to choose that. If someone says 5 Rand, you can do that 250 times. So depends what you want. Or get yourself a girlfriend, put her through school. It's cheaper, and now you have quality and quantity.
Wow. So you're saying you you get a girlfriend, right? Who put it through school. So assuming university. So we go there, wait for the matriculants to finish there. Then you pick your bunch, the most naive of them all, tell them
Not
dreams.
naive.
Oh,
You don't have to be naive. You just take someone, put them through school, and now they can be an investment for your life as well as theirs. And then boom, that's what people do. That's how you pick your partner. You don't pick someone that's going to then be a liability to you. You pick someone that's going to be an asset, and then they do the same to you. Otherwise, what's the point? It doesn't have to be monetary. It can be anything. If you're gonna go work, you want to pick someone else that's gonna do something else at home. If you both want to work, then you're both equally gonna do the work, and then you're both equally gonna do something at home. or then you go and hire a maid, and they'll do that at home.
How do
So
people
that
choose?
pretty much, hey?
How do people choose? I'm asking, how do people choose their partners these days? Do people think like the way you're thinking, like yo, like my partner should be like an investment, like yo, like this ride or die thing, or is it someone like yo, like these one night stands that are still going on for a year on type of thing? Like yo, it's fun, it's freaky,
I
oh,
particularly like the way that most traditional places, like the traditional Muslim people and the traditional Indian people, the way that the way that they choose their partners by looking at the families and seeing what the families can bring together and seeing if the person is educated, will go with another person that's educated and all that stuff, and kind of have an arranged marriage like that. That works quite well as well, because then the only thing that's left is for you guys to be compatible. But everything else in the future and the medium to long term is almost pretty much standard. Instead of you going out and meeting whoever, like what do you know? You know, at 30 years old, you're gonna have, you know, at 30 years old, you don't know what you're gonna do, let alone what your chick's gonna do. So you're gonna go out and just go find someone at a club, and then you're gonna say, "Ah, I love you, babe," for the next 3 years. And after that, she's gonna say, "Oh, you know what? I don't want to work anymore." And then you're thinking, you're chilling, thinking, "Well, how are we gonna buy a house?" And he goes, "I hate this ambitious, this chick that's not ambitious." It's like she wasn't
oh, she,
ambitious when you met her. You met her at
oh,
a
she hits,
pub, bro.
oh, oh, she hits you with that patriarchal chat of you're the man in this thing, you're the one who must provide. You must
Exactly.
figure out how you're gonna get this house, and I'll take care of that house.
You see what I'm saying? Exactly, and so some of that works too. But I mean, it depends what you want and what you're looking for. But I mean, most of the time, you really don't even know what you want. You just want what you want now, and if you can have that constantly, that's good. But you know, you're never gonna know what happens at 30, at 35, at 40 when you lose your job. What's the patriarchy gonna do there?
You know, someone told me most people are single, they just haven't lost their jobs yet.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
Then
but
what? That's
then
that's
what?
another
Yeah.
interesting talk as well with um like you know, if you get, like, let's say you choose a woman, right, and they're pretty. You choose them because they're pretty, right? So they always constantly have to be pretty, right? Because that's why you like them. So if they say gain weight or lose weight or change, stop taking care of themselves, then they become less attractive to you, right? So if you choose a guy and he's providing for you, and you're there because he's a provider, and he's the breadwinner, and he loses his job, he becomes less attractive to you. That's why so many guys that have families, whenever they lose their jobs or get retrenched, whatever, they spiral out of control, because that was the one thing that made them attractive. And now when that's lost, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, whatever. Look for another guy that's
That's
got a job.
yeah, that's scary. That's so true too, man. Yeah. So how do you, so you saying, one way of like choosing someone like yo, like what do you bring to the table? Like yo, are you educated or are you street smart? So like if the time comes, not if, when the storm comes, like you get retrenched or I stop working for some reason because I want something better than where I'm at now, so I'm not gonna be grand. It's that thing of I understand, but like yo, you already like this, and like I already know, like yo, you'll be good in the long run anyway because you're educated, or like yo, that next break or that December period, you'll be able to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. Yeah, like those
Yeah.
sort of partners. I think those are the partners you should actually think about more than like yo. At the moment, he's fulfilling a need that's gonna like keep me good in the short term, but in the medium long term, will I be happy with this dude? Even though in the long term, my needs will still be met, but like won't my needs grow over time? Like okay, I'm comfortable now. I'm always provided for. There's always electricity and food and and the kids are sorted. But like, there's a growth. Is saying we should look for growth and a thing.
Like I think that you should always not be that person yourself. Then if you're a person that's ambitious and knows what they want and is driven, is always going to be there for someone. you need to be the person that you want the other person to be. And when you're that person, you will then attract people like that. Because if you're not, then you won't attract people like that. Or they'll just fall off, even if you have them and you're ambitious and you're doing whatever you're doing and you're trying your best. People like that will most probably fall off because they'll see that I can't actually handle this, I can't go with this. And you'll attract people that can do the same to you. So instead of always trying to find someone that's going to be like that, what makes you think that you're not like that? And you most probably are. It's like what some chicks do is that, oh, well, let me look for someone that's going to, work and put in the effort and take care of me. It's like, okay, why would they want to take care of you when they have to work and put in the effort? What makes you think that they don't want to look for someone that's going to be working and putting in effort? That's why the rich marry the rich. You marry alike. Because then I know what I want and I know who I am, and you so happen to be who I want as well. What do you think, Mishi? Trigger.
No.
Oh. What's this man doing?
Yo,
Tweeting.
sorry. Yo, these tweets. I'm trying to see if I've got 150K lying around somewhere. Just to see how the quality people y'all are talking about, actually is. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. No, for real, I do honestly think that a lot of the work needs to be done to yourself before you try to stand and mold someone else. Because you probably don't imagine. And
Yeah, I
most of
think
the time, the person that you're trying to pick will then expose all of that. That's when you get uncomfortable. So let's just be comfortable, not comfortable in your own skin, but try to fix the shit that you have. You'll attract people that also are trying to fix the shit that they have, but then they know that you're on the same train as them. And then you'll do it together. You'll fix each other while fixing yourself. But if you neglect yourself, someone else will expose all of that shit, and then you won't like it. And then you're the one that's actually you're the one that's not picked. It's not them. That's why a lot of chicks, they fall into this trap so easily. The guy will leave them and they get married somewhere else, and they'll still say the guy talks. It's like, really? Like, he's the one that found a partner and he's happy with a family. He's the one that's toxic. Like, all your partners have left you and you've been with someone and they met someone and they're happy with them and they're the ones that are toxic. It's like exactly that is exactly why you're the one that's toxic.
Yo. Yeah, yo, I actually saw, that these funny tweets, man. I think maybe people do it for clout. I think this one lady posted like, yo, I was dating this guy for 4 years, then we broke up. He's engaged to this new girlfriend of his 6 months later. It's that thing that you go back to about, yo, maybe I was the one that was toxic.
Yeah.
Because like just from that, like, yo, you've got this overbearing personality, controlling, wants to know everything that's going on, and
Wait to get out.
like, yo, he has to think about me every waking second. Like, yo, did she breathe a minute ago? Let me actually go in and check. Like, how come you didn't check if I'm still breathing, babe? Like, nah, it's not gonna actually work, this thing, eh?
Yeah, this thing's not gonna work.
After 4 years, you're sitting there and you're actually thinking like, dog, this person is so self-absorbed to a point where you tell them like, yo, I broke my leg. Oh, shame. So that doesn't mean you can't drive me to the hair salon.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're like,
Yep. You know those
so,
people. Yeah.
but it's the
Sometimes
hard circle.
we know those people. Yeah, and you catch
Sometimes,
yourself
like,
when you're doing it.
your friends will tell you like, yo, bruh, I think like it's just not good for you. Like, nah, bruh, I'm gonna push through, bruh. I'm just gonna come right, dog. Just gonna see that like, yo, I'm different from those other guys, bro.
And then
I'm
your friends
different.
leave you. And then your friends start to leave you. And then by the
That
time
way.
she leaves you and you go back to your friends, they're like, nope, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're stuck alone again. You have to build yourself. But instead of doing that, you
And
go into another relationship.
and you carry that thing of, man, this new person, she might be like that one, so now you overthink small things, bro. You understand? Like, yo, when she doesn't do something, like, ah, fuck, same tendencies as my old
There
ex,
we
I'm
go.
back.
Oh, it's the same shit.
It's the same shit. It's back to
Yeah.
that thing of once you're in power, you tasted power, like, ah, nothing changes, even if you vote. Whoa,
And that time, the only thing that stayed constant is you.
the only thing that stayed constant is you. Yo, you haven't actually taken time to just look at the situation and like, yeah, nah, it actually doesn't work. It's like
Like I said, I
maybe
mean, it's difficult to get out of that, bro. Like, because I mean, there's obviously a lot of times where you find that you're us. We're the ones that you find yourself in situations like that. Just you carry things. It's like now that I'm working at a new place, I find like a lot of stuff from the previous place I've carried to this place. And you kind of have to, because your brain doesn't think what the good and the bad is that you need to then take and then leave the bad. It just takes everything. And that's who you are. And it's part of you then to then sift out the things that are going to work here, the things that aren't going to work. Like if you get out of a bad relationship, your brain's not going to say, oh, yeah, well, then overlook this when it happens in this relationship. It's like it's going to be protective and say, no, when you see it, be more sensitive to it. But then you have to be the one that says, okay, I need to evaluate. This is a new situation. Maybe it's not as bad as this. And maybe it's like that. And maybe I should react like this time and see where it goes and create a new environment. So it's a protective mechanism, but at the same time, it might hinder you. So you need to find that balance, because you can't just reset. No one can just reset. You have to kind of take things into the next thing of your life. Life is continuous. If you sleep, you wake up, and you think about the things that happened yesterday. And then if you see them again, your brain says, look, there she goes again. She left to go somewhere without telling you. Shit, the last person that did this cheated on me. She's probably cheating. And then you're going to go back into that spiral again. But you need to learn then to be like, okay, look, but this situation is like this. Maybe I'm overlooking. Speak to people. Get things to, ways to cope with it. And then you might find, actually, no, it's actually going out to work.
yeah, it's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, hey, man, this was a lot, bro. Hey, yeah, I think I'm out, bro. I don't know if you guys have any closing comments, man.
Well, yes, boys, you just joined. She's probably going to get on the live now and start a new topic.
Oh yeah, I'll probably chill if he does jump on for like 5 minutes before I tap out. Yeah,
Your brain's fried, boy. You're thinking about these chicks that have wronged you.
Oh no! Is that from this past 2 hours? That's the only thing you took from this whole thing, man. You forgot my whole depiction of power out here, crime and the order, bro. Yes, hey, you're part of the problem, also, bro.
But yeah, bro. Like I said, things like this. Yeah. We're gonna have these talks. You hardly ever have. Every day it's
Yeah,
like every day it's we'll speak about how Messi is so much better than Ronaldo. We'll speak about fucking work problems. We'll speak about how tiring kids are and how beautiful Nando's. And you never actually speak about things like this that actually make you evaluate stuff. You think about conversations like this when you, like, just randomly throughout the day, when you see things happen, and you go, yeah, I remember that. I remember we talked about something like that. And this is how it goes, and this is how this person's going to be. Or even sometimes you do some shit, you think, I'm being manipulative here. Someone said this to me, and someone talked about this, and I was referencing something. Let me step back. And then boom, you're better off tomorrow, or you're better off tomorrow than you are today. When you never have them, you just go into automatic mode, automatism, and then you basically become the people that you hate, the people that want to remain stagnant and complain every day and say the ANC ain't doing shit and that the DA ain't doing shit. And you ask them, what have you done? And they say, nothing, I've complained. And it's, fuck it.
Part of the problem, not part
Exactly,
of the
bro.
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're 100% correct, man. It's actually is important, to unpack these things. These things, mainstream media kind of sugarcoats or talks differently about or only gives you one side. Because, like you said, bro, pushing agendas, pushing votes, or whatever.
it
Important
gives you one
issues, though.
it gives you one side that it gives you the side that you want to hear. There's always more than one side. There's always a truth. It just gives you the side that you want to hear. Anytime
It's
they
giving the
argue
side
against,
the majority want to hear.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
a very small minority, but the people in the middle, it's like, like ish, without sounding like what Gareth Cliff was saying in that podcast of his, like, yo, like racism to like maybe racism to
Please
like
tell me what, like,
80%.
I saw that. Please explain to me what happened with this Garrett Clip. I heard about it, but
Yeah,
I don't know what happened. And I just guessed that it probably something that he said that was truthful, but it was just a bit too truthful. And therefore people got
yeah.
offended.
It was actually it was a classic case of people being oversensitive because we actually nowadays are more sensitive than ever, bro. So he was having this podcast with that about like the campaigning or something like that. I actually need to revisit exactly what happened. I just got the snippets, but like he was talking to like the person who phoned into the show, and then they were like, yo, as a GBV victim, I'm always looking over my shoulder. Or as a woman, I'm always looking over my shoulder because of GBV, blah, blah, blah. Or racism, I deal with this. And then he's like, yo, bro, according to some poll or survey, most people actually don't give a fuck about racism and that. People actually are worried about what they're going to eat today.
Which is true.
Which is true. Like most people are more worried about that than racism. Like
Survival.
racism is like the third thing on their things to worry about. What am I gonna eat? Then am I gonna get money? And racism. Then she's like, yo, but like racism is actually a pertinent issue. She's like, yeah, I get that. Oh, but like it's the way he said it as well. He
It was
sounded
very
no
guyish.
condescending, talking down. Oh, and then yeah. So that's what happened with Garrett. I need to obviously revisit this scenario correctly, set up my own view, then be flooded with how I'm supposed to feel now. Because nowadays, man,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see
yeah.
you see these things like another killing. You're like, whoa, can I see this video first before I'm on the side of yeah, cops are bad. Oh, can I see this video first? And then you see the video and you're like, hey, but why is this guy also like being rude to the cop, dog, as well?
Mm.
Sometimes, like, yo, bro, just like he's saying, step out of the car, just step out. Don't be like, but why must I step out, bro? Why? Whoa, 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 whoa. Like, like, is that necessary? What you're saying
Mm.
also as well, like you're saying, there's always two sides to these things.
It's
So,
three sides. Your story, my story, and the truth.
hey, three, bro. The
Mm.
truth, bro. Like you see, like yo, like that was it. Is it the lady? Like some of these cases also don't gain traction. Like, why are some people canceled also, bro? Like the guy, like the guy who like threw a bottle at Boichi, bro. Like here, that cracked her face and she's bleeding. Like no media, bro. Nothing, bro. No traction, bro. I mean, it's a crime, bro. And
Yeah.
like it's a like attempt to commit bodily harm, bro. But then
Yeah.
there's nothing,
Yeah.
bro. But like if it was someone else, someone heterosexual that did the same thing, man, the trash. So like, these things, three sides, bro. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happened with that. And then like you're saying, like mainstream media either tells you what the majority want to hear, or the small minority that want to hear whatever they're trying to push. But the people
Yes.
in the middle that are the real majority, they're on the like, okay, sharp,
Yeah. That's
sharp.
why. That's why. I mean, look at the shows that like we're again going back to what we were talking about. The shows that get put on. Most of the ones that get put on are extreme on the one side or extreme on the other side. Yeah, most of the shows that get put on are extreme on one side or extreme on the other side. But they're not going to put on the things in the middle because it's to hear the truth. So the media is dying. So what do they have to do? They have to push things that they get people to put them out to be against each other, create wars. So that way, at least they'll be still relevant. They're gonna push all these narratives on the one side, push all these narratives on the other side, keep trick about what's so. They give the one side the power to cancel the other side. Give the one side the power to cancel the other side, and then they go, "Cool, perfect. I'm just gonna, jump on whatever story makes sense." So if whoever this chick is got hit by a bottle on her head, it's like, do they know her? And then if someone in East London goes and fights against someone else, and that person happens to be a female, and it's on Women's Month, and whoop, yep, that's it. You're back on live, and then they show it again. That's just how it works. That's how it always comes out every like 2 months. It's almost like they have a roster, and they pick off these 2 weeks. We're gonna talk about GBV, and after that we're gonna talk about Black Lives Matter. After that, transgender this, and then after that we're gonna swap. Talk about body positivity, and it's just we're gonna do it again. After that first 6 months, we'll start again. After that, and then that's it. And then you just have to watch what you're sensitive to. Because if you're sensitive about it, you probably haven't thought about it enough to not be sensitive about it. But if you're sensitive about it, you probably either went through something that's really crazy or you haven't thought about it enough.
100%, bro. But yeah, hopefully, bro. Hopefully, one day we'll accept that there are three sides to all stories.
It normally happens when you get older. Because then you have other priorities, and then these things can't influence us. It's like I have other shit to worry about now. That's why I was saying to you that it's always easier when it's the young youth, the ones that can flip cars, the ones that can burn in an instant. They always have their cigarettes ready because it's either there for crack cocaine or crack or for weed. So therefore, it's always ready. They're always ready to burn up a jammy. They're always ready to burn up a tire. Let's go for those ones. And the beers are always ready. They never pay for them. They always have friends willing to buy for them, and then they never pay for them. They're always drinking more than everyone. But then the people that are a bit older and have things to take care of, and have social ladders and corporate ladders to climb, I don't give a shit about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's hectic, bro. It's hectic.
Yeah, man. But like I said, conversations like this are very, very enlightening. When we go back to our lives now, and these people are like, oh shit, I thought that was worth it. As much as I have so many things to do and so many deadlines, I haven't eaten, and my stomach is hungry, and I really want to take off this hijab. It was worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, man. Don't forget to send me the best snippets of this live, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I just get off and then share it on my thing, and then I download it, and then I post it on WhatsApp. It keeps me away from posting all the other nonsense I used to post. So at least if I post this shit, and I don't have to post like 16 different people every day.
Yeah, but don't forget to include me in that post, bro. Like send it through whenever you decide to do that, bro. I'm sure whenever
I
you
think
find
you downloaded off my thing. I'm not sure.
But I mean, like when you do, Oxalayo, bro.
Okay.
Oxalayo, I'm gonna keep it, dog. So, but yeah, yo, this was really fun, man. Yo, you should let me know for the next one. Yo, I'm really sorry about yesterday, bro. Yo.
Missed it, did he tell you? Yesterday He's like, yeah, let's have a talk. Let's have a talk. We go on. And like legit, like 11 minutes in it, and we were like just absolutely, like we were starting to lift off. And then he just goes blank. And then he
Yeah.
starts reconnecting. Sit there. After a while, I put his mind at work. And then after like a minute, I'm like, oh man, let me close this. I send him a text and it doesn't go through. I immediately think, there's load shedding.
Yeah. It was a disaster, man. But nah, I knew how to bounce back. I knew they weren't gonna load shed today because they need people to vote ANC. So.
Speaking of that, sorry, just to end off, I remember reading something on Facebook about like someone said, isn't it convenient that there's load shedding around voting time? And I was thinking, and they were like, how are we supposed to study as well with exams and there's load shedding? Please don't vote ANC. I just laughed and I was just thinking to myself, it's narratives like this that just drive people off the edge. Like, load shedding, you have a schedule, right? Like, why are you studying only during that schedule? Like, you have every other part of the day to study. But you want to choose to study the lights off so that then you can blame this political party. There's nothing to do with this whole shenanigans, just so that you can prove a point. And then you can say, I failed because they did like this, or because the DA did this. Crazy, bro. Oh, man. Yeah,
Hey, welcome to South Africa.
it's the world, bro. It's not just South Africa, I promise. The whole world's like this, has its own problem. Some of these issues, they keep popping up in other places, but in different forms. You know? Yeah. All right,
Hey,
man.
alright, man. Yo, thanks. What's the name of this channel? Whatever it is, or it's just J.
I have a name of a channel. I just have a talk and share it and then put up my life. I don't have any
Oh,
channel.
weird. Hey, weird, dog. You're not captured, dog. I can see it.
No. Like I said, it's always rationality first, boy. Always.
Hey,
We have this.
never
I
been
mean, it's like me and Mishka can have these talks whenever we want. We just decide, fuck it, let's give back and have them here. No problem.
Yo, weird, dog. Fuck it.
Yeah, bro. All right, I'll see you guys, man.
Alright,
Okay.
cool, man.
Good night, baby.
Bye.